Did you know that there is a place in the world where ordinary people are not allowed to go? Not only are they not allowed to enter, but drilling and mining are also prohibited. Did you know there is a continent where ordinary people cannot go? Not only are they banned, but drilling and mining are also forbidden. Unless someone gets permission from 54 countries, you can only visit this continent one day a year, March 1st, while US cargo planes land there 350 days a year. This is a continent where, when a satellite image reaches you, Google Earth hides it. Its rectangles and pyramids are covered with snow. This isn't about penguins, it's about Operation High Jump, a story where during this operation, 4,700 people land on this desolate continent along with 13 naval ships and 33 aircraft. But this operation completes its mission 6 months ahead of schedule and returns. 4 people die, 2 aircraft go missing, and the footage of this operation. In Antarctica, 4,700 people, 13 ships, and 33 aircraft complete their mission 6 months early. 4 die, 2 planes go missing, and the footage is classified forever. Antarctica is surrounded by many stories and questions, such as whether UFOs land there, if the Nazis built a base, or if it hides mysterious cities or secrets. And to expand his knowledge about different religions, he visits libraries all over the world. Gustav goes to Istanbul, and inside Istanbul, he is working in the library of the Topkapi Palace, doing archival work, trying to gain knowledge, when suddenly Gustav visits libraries worldwide to study religions. In Istanbul, he works in the Topkapi Palace Library, doing archival research. There, he finds a world map from the Ottoman Empire, dated 1513. As soon as Gustav opens this map, he is astonished to see that in the year 1513, the Ottoman Empire's admiral Piri Reis created this map. And on this map, there is a place called Antarctica. Gustav is shocked because this map is from 1513, while for those who don't know, they should be aware that Antarctica was discovered in the year 1820, meaning that almost 300 years before its discovery, Muslims already knew what Antarctica was. Gustav's astonishment is also justified because the coastal line of Antarctica is almost exactly as depicted by Piri Reis. In 1820, Muslims already knew about Antarctica long before its official discovery. Gustav is amazed because the coastline on Piri Reis's map matches what was reported in 1820. And he is also surprised by what is found inside Antarctica. Piri Reis's map showed Antarctica as green with animals, but today it's covered by thick ice with land lying far beneath. This raises a big question. Either the Muslims of that era knew something that modern science does not, or there was no ice in that period and it suddenly appeared, or there is some other secret. To uncover this mystery, in 1946, a major mission arrived at the base of Antarctica, and this mission was called Operation High Jump. In 1929, in American naval history, there was a very talented and most decorated naval officer. In 1929, a very talented and most decorated naval officer appears in American naval history. Today, history knows this naval officer as Admiral Richard Alwyn Byrd. During his service, Admiral Byrd explored Antarctica. He carried out several missions in Antarctica, but one special mission took place in November 1929. In this mission, an aircraft takes off from Little America. This aircraft is the Ford Trimotor, and in the American Navy, it is known as the Floyd Bennett. Admiral Byrd is on board this plane, accompanied by his navigator, his pilot, his radio man, and his photographer. They take off at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, flying onward. As soon as the plane passes over the South Pole, its target is to complete a 1,600-mile round trip. The plane crosses the pole, and its target is to complete a 1,600-mile round trip. As soon as the plane passes over the South Pole, the control tower receives a radio message from Admiral Byrd. Control tower, we are currently flying over the South Pole, but there is something wrong because the horizon is rising upwards. This is not like our usual horizon. And with that, the message ends. You can find a lot of information related to Admiral Byrd's mission on the internet, including claims that Admiral Byrd's diary and special important messages were hidden, camouflaged, and made classified. But 17 years after this mission, Admiral Byrd once again heads towards Antarctica. But this time, he is not alone. This time, he is accompanied by 4,700 soldiers, 13 naval ships, and 33 aircraft. Now, the thing to understand is, if it's just an ice sheet, if there's nothing but ice across the entire continent, then what is the purpose of taking such a large military force? If you look at the details of this armada, you'll be surprised to find that it includes there are aircraft carriers, icebreakers powerful enough to cut through mountains, and submarines equipped to provide experimental sonar. In addition to the submarines, there are marines whose job is urban combat. All of this for an island, a place covered in ice. Why is there a need to do all this? Now you might recall that Admiral Byrd once has the ability to cover the South Pole by ship, and we need to show this before they arrive. The media made noise and asked, "Who do you mean by they? Are there aliens, an enemy, the Soviets, or some other power you don't want to mention?" In 2016, two strange things happened regarding Antarctica. First, a picture of Antarctica was released online, showing pyramids there. The first pyramid shown is four-sided and so large that if you compare it with the pyramids of Giza, it Egyptian pyramids are 755 feet wide and 480 feet tall. The Antarctic pyramid is much taller at 3,937 feet. And it is built on a base that measures 2 kilometers by 2 kilometers on all four sides. It's truly astonishing. And even today, if you want to look up its coordinates on Google, they are 79 degrees 58 minutes south and 81 degrees 57 minutes west. The amazing thing is, if there really are pyramids in Antarctica, then these pyramids A pyramid in Antarctica has a 2-kilometer base at 7958 south, 8157 west. Who built it? Was there a civilization there? Did Allah the Almighty destroy it as punishment, or does it still exist underground? Or could it be the work of the jinn living in Antarctica? Many mysteries are associated with Antarctica. As I mentioned, two astonishing events took place. First, pyramids can be seen in Antarctica. But you will be even more astonished when you hear the second surprising thing, and that is, as soon as the pictures of these pyramids were released, within just a few hours, an immediate denial came out, claiming that these are actually not man-made. That is, they are natural formations. Over time, as snow accumulated, these mountains of ice were formed. But still, the question remains. Sidney Sheldon has written in many places, but if this really is a natural formation, then isn't it astonishing that from all four sides, an exact 2 kilometers by 2 kilometers by 2 kilometers, natural formation has occurred, just like a pyramid? It's truly an astonishing thing. If this is a natural formation, isn't it remarkable that on all four sides, a perfect 2 by 2 by 2 kilometer shape has formed, just like a pyramid? It's so surprising it's hard to believe. So, what has really been happening in Antarctica? Before we find out what's been happening there are two things you need to know about what exactly is going on in Antarctica. And both of these things are so astonishing in their nature that they will leave you amazed. And you probably haven't heard anything like this before. First, did you know that in 1959, 12 countries signed an agreement regarding Antarctica, which is called the Antarctic Treaty? These 12 countries decided that no one would have ownership over Antarctica. No country owns Antarctica. No nation will try to establish its own military base there. No weapons testing will be conducted in any area of Antarctica, and no one will be allowed to do so. Any activity carried out on this continent will only be for scientific reasons, to understand things scientifically, and all information will be kept classified. Today, at this moment, 56 countries in the world have signed the Antarctic Treaty. Many countries have research bases in Antarctica where people live and work. Since 1959, research has continued. What have they discovered? No country is willing to share these findings with you, and even if you try to set foot on this icy continent alone, you can't. No country is willing to share this with you, and even if you try to set foot on this continent alone, you are stopped by warning fire before you can land. You are not allowed to come. Now, let's talk about another astonishing thing, something I am sure you don't know about. And that is, if the world has signed such a common agreement, a treaty regarding Antarctica, that no one will have ownership, then why? What happened? Do you know that in 1908, an Antarctic expedition was carried out? The person who led this expedition was named John Baptist Charcot, and during this expedition, an island within Antarctica was discovered. Now, you need to remember that I am talking about an island within the continent of Antarctica. As soon as this island was discovered, at that point, the question arose, what should this island be named? The name that Charcot gave to this island is still its name today, and if you want to search for it on Google, you will find it there as well. However, the more you try to zoom in, your image will become blurry, and you won't be able to see anything except ice. The name given to this island was Barn Rassel. The question arose, what should this island be named? The name Charcot gave is still used today, and if you search for it on Google, you will find it. But as you zoom in, the image becomes blurry and you see only ice. The island was named Baron Rothschild, after the Rothschild family, the business dynasty known for Judaism, Zionism, and global banking. Rothschild Island still exists and many writers have discussed it. So why did Charcot choose this name? Because Rothschild sponsored the entire expedition because he was searching for something. Baron Edward de Rothschild was involved in some discovery and he wanted new polar expeditions to be undertaken. There was something that needed to be discovered. Some writers even go so far as to say that perhaps satanic practices are carried out on this island hidden from the eyes of the world. Perhaps the world's elites are in contact with the devil because of this island, and today they control the world. Some claim that at any given time there are 7 people in the world who receive orders from the devil and continue to influence the world towards corruption. Is this the very island where the devil gives them his commands or where he sits on his throne? Some say this island is linked to the devil and helps spread evil in the world is present? No one can say for sure with details unless an expedition is allowed to reach that continent. But one fact does exist, and that fact is about Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, the famous YouTuber, recently visited Antarctica. And when he returned from Antarctica, he was asked in a podcast whether he had seen the ice wall. No one can say for sure with exact details unless an expedition is allowed to reach that continent. But one fact does exist, and that fact is about Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, the famous YouTuber, recently returned from Antarctica. And when he came back from Antarctica, he was asked in a podcast whether he had seen the ice wall. On this, the rest, what did the others say and what did Mr. Beast say? Just listen to this. In 1946, under the name Operation High Jump, around 4,700 soldiers landed in Antarctica under the supervision of Admiral Byrd. That was in 1947. They completed their mission and returned. In fact, they came back 6 months earlier than planned. 4 people were killed and 2 planes disappeared. Now, when you try to inquire about this in the media, you get all sorts of information. But the official sources of the operation say that the 4 people who died and the 2 planes that crashed were actually due to accidents because there was so much snow and fog that accidents could easily happen there. These 4 people were killed and 2 planes were lost. When officials are asked why the entire mission was completed 6 months early, the official response you get is that the cold there is so extreme that it was not possible to continue the mission any longer. However, what's surprising is that even today, people are present at 70 bases around the world, and on a daily basis, they receive their supplies from US cargo planes and US cargo. The planes return. And another piece of misinformation is that the entire Antarctica is covered in ice. Even today, you can see many regions where there is no ice, or perhaps not all areas have ice. Maybe the entire region is misrepresented. But the important information here is the 1947 interview that Admiral Byrd gave to El Moreno. When he was asked who is present there, you landed on the vast frozen continent with so many well-trained soldiers and such an impressive amount of advanced arsenal, but there was absolutely no enemy to be found anywhere in the endless ice of Antarctica. So, what exactly did Admiral Byrd have to say about this mysterious situation? Admiral Byrd said, 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 either aliens have it or the jinn have it. When asked what he meant by enemy, whether Nazis, Soviets, or extraterrestrials, Admiral Byrd went silent. He was called to a Navy briefing, and after that, he stopped giving interviews. So perhaps those few words of Admiral Byrd was silenced. There are many different conspiracy theories and a wide variety of details about Admiral Byrd's Operation High Jump that you can easily find on the internet. For example, you may have already heard that the sky and the horizon above, he was silenced. Many conspiracy theories about Admiral Byrd's Operation High Jump are online. For example, some claim the sky and horizon were rising, something Byrd reportedly said and was heard by the control tower over the radio. Official sources deny this. has ever been reported, nor is there any mention in official documents. Another related story that became popular online was that Admiral Byrd's photographer was kidnapped by forces living in Antarctica. But this is also untrue. There are cases of alleged alien abduction linked to the four people who died. But even here, official sources say nothing like that happened. There are also claims about enemy planes made of green light moving fast under the ice and that Admiral Byrd's forces fought them. Official sources have denied these stories and stated nothing like this happened. Similarly, you may have heard many such theories. Official sources deny claims of strange events, enemy planes, or supernatural beings at the site. There are claims that an entire city exists beneath all of Antarctica, and many names for this city are popular on the internet. However, official sources also say that they have not found any such city under the ice. But there is a lake that does exist, which scientists have discovered beneath kilometers of ice, and about which scientists themselves. Some claim a city is hidden under Antarctica, but officials deny it. Scientists did find a puzzling lake deep below the ice. There are many conspiracy theories about Antarctica, and these can only be clarified if someone actually visits and reveals the truth, or if the authorities behind the Antarctic Treaty decide to share it. Whether the story involves Nazis, Soviets, Jinn, or the world itself, whether it's about a web or the devil's own story, no one really knows for sure. But there's another story related to aliens, and that story is more about Project Blue Beam than it is about aliens themselves. It's important for you to know this story, and that story is still to come.